A massive ship that had disappeared in the ocean years ago, with everyone on board mysteriously killed, still drifts aimlessly beneath the waves. This thrilling story begins by showing that very cruise ship moving through the ocean. Inside, numerous passengers are enjoying the journey, from businessmen to wealthy elites who paid huge sums for their tickets. The cruise is in full swing, with people dancing and partying, when suddenly a man pulls a lever, releasing a deadly spiked wire that sweeps across the hull, slicing anyone it touches. The wire moves toward the partygoers, leaving no one alive. Bodies are cut in half, and blood covers the floor. Yet one girl, Katie, survives because the wire passes just above her height. As she looks around, she realizes everyone else is dead and screams in shock, unaware that she is the last living soul on the ship. From that moment, the massive cruise ship vanished into the ocean, its fate and the mysterious secrets within forgotten. Years later, a small boat appears in the same waters, belonging to Sam and his friends, who sail the ocean searching for ancient artifacts to sell. One day, Sam's team finds an old boat, hoping to profit from its parts. While celebrating their find, a Coast Guard named Jack approaches, revealing the legend of the long-lost cruise ship. He shows them a photo and explains that it likely contains gold and other valuable treasures left by wealthy passengers years ago. Lured by greed, Sam and his team decide to pursue the opportunity and plan a nighttime expedition. Equipped with supplies and a rough map from Jack, they set out, braving storms and rough seas. Finally, after days of travel, they arrive at the location, and to their shock, the cruise ship looms directly before them, so massive that thousands of boats could fit inside it. However, they couldn't understand why the cruise ship's signal didn't appear on their radar, and they assumed that their radar system might be malfunctioning. It was clear now that they had to enter the ship to see what treasure might be inside. So, Morin and one man stayed on the boat while the rest slowly boarded the ship. The cruise ship was completely deserted, with everything decayed and no one in sight. But as soon as they entered, the mysterious events they couldn't have imagined began. Strange noises echoed from different parts of the ship. Following one of these sounds, they found a pendulum, which, despite the ship being centuries old and long vanished, was still moving. When Jack tried to touch it, the pendulum stopped on its own, and the unknown sounds started echoing again, as if someone was trying to scare them away. As they moved forward, they noticed scribble blocks on a table, shaking on their own and forming words. When Jack looked, it spelled, "Welcome." He didn't tell his teammates, knowing they needed to focus on finding treasure, not wasting time on this strange phenomenon. As they took another step, they realized the floor below was unstable, and Jack began to fall. Luckily, the others caught him, and Morin, using all her strength, pulled him up. At that moment, she saw someone below, none other than little Katie, the girl who had survived on the ship years ago. Morin was shocked, quickly pulling him up, but in the next instant, Katie vanished. It seemed Katie had died long ago, and what they saw was her spirit. Morin kept this to herself and decided to continue the investigation. Everyone examined the ship to locate the treasure and understand its structure, wondering how long it could survive. After scouting different areas, they returned to their boat. Sam reported that the ship had a large hole, causing it to slowly sink, and estimated it had only a few days left before permanently submerging. They had also found a digital wristwatch on board, which was impossible for a ship of this age, raising the question of how it got there. They assumed someone had been there before them, leaving the watch behind. Sam decided they had to patch the hole to give themselves more time to investigate and find the treasure left behind. The team spread out across the ship, with Jack working on the hole while Morin moved toward a swimming pool area. She had been wondering about the girl she had seen and needed answers. When she entered the pool area, she noticed many bullet marks on the walls, intensifying the mystery surrounding the ship and its past. It seemed possible that a shooting had occurred there and someone might have been killed. The place was filled with unknown, mysterious elements that had nothing to do with Morin, so she tried to leave the swimming pool area. As she climbed the stairs, she suddenly saw the same unknown girl ahead, and in fear, she fell from the height, injuring her head and bleeding. Strangely, blood was also seeping from the swimming pool walls. When Morin got up a little later, the girl had disappeared, and the blood she had shed was absorbed by the pool, indicating that something mysterious was happening. As Morin cautiously stepped back, she realized the figure in front of her was not the girl but her teammate, Jel, who had come upon hearing her voice. Jel immediately helped her out of the pool and advised that they should continue their investigation. Exiting the area, they saw that the pool was now completely filled with blood. The shocking truth behind it was yet to unfold. The space was so large that Morin and Jel got slightly disoriented. When they opened a door, water poured into the chamber, causing minor injuries, but they managed to escape into another room. Thankfully, this new chamber had no water but contained what they had come for, numerous stacks of cash and wooden boxes, most likely holding treasure. Morin and Jel called their team members, who arrived to inspect everything. Inside the sacks were large amounts of cash, and opening the wooden boxes revealed pure gold bars in abundance. Every team member was ecstatic, knowing their expedition had been a success. They estimated the black market value of the treasure and realized they were on the verge of becoming millionaires. Initially, they had planned to repair the ship for extra investigation time, but now it was unnecessary, as they had found the gold. They decided to transfer all the treasure to their boat and leave the ship behind. As they worked, everyone was thrilled, already planning what to do with the money once they returned. Unbeknownst to them, a trap was unfolding. One of Sam's teammates was preparing the boat when suddenly a gas cylinder valve opened on its own, slowly filling the boat with gas, as if an unseen force were manipulating it. All they had to do was start the engine, which would ignite the gas and destroy the boat. Meanwhile, Morin, still on the ship, heard noises and saw the girl, Katie, screaming toward her. Suddenly, another shadow appeared and grabbed Katie, leaping away. Morin couldn't fully comprehend it, but she realized the girl was signaling imminent danger. With that understanding, Morin rushed toward her boat to warn everyone, but it was already too late. One teammate had started the engine. Due to the gas, a massive explosion occurred, destroying their boat and killing their teammate. This meant they couldn't escape the ship, and everything happened so fast that no one could react. Morin even jumped into the water from the ship to try to do something, but the girl kept appearing in front of her. Even in the water, the girl's presence loomed over the ship. With her teammate and boat gone, they had no choice but to survive aboard the ship. In such a situation, trapped in a massive, abandoned cruise ship in the middle of the ocean with no escape and unsure how long it would stay afloat, it's crucial not to panic. First, one must maintain proper nutrition and hydration. Seawater must never be consumed. Instead, use water evaporation and sunlight to create fresh water, or rely on rain if available. Food options in the middle of the ocean are limited, but the ship's kitchen may have non-perishable items like canned food or dry snacks, which are safe to eat. Avoid meat or dairy, as they could be contaminated after long exposure to fungus and bacteria. Conserve the ship's power and create signals for rescue. Use mirrors during the day to reflect sunlight, and flares or flashlights at night. Repeat these steps daily to survive until help arrives. Meanwhile, Morin discovered a shipboard cabinet containing passenger details, eventually learning about the girl, Katie, who was involved in the events. Investigating further, she found Katie's room filled with toys and, horrifically, Katie's decomposed body hanging above. Morin realized the girl she had been seeing was Katie's spirit, which soon appeared before her. Though scared, Morin knew Katie meant no harm. Elsewhere, Sam entered the captain's room, shocked to see the captain's spirit offering him a drink while talking. The captain revealed photographs, including a small boat that had transported treasure. Greed drove them to transfer the treasure onto their cruise ship, feeling as if it had come to them. But within 2 days, strange events began on the cruise ship, which then vanished mysteriously. All the passengers had died for unknown reasons, and the treasure remained aboard the ship. Sam understood most of these events, but the captain then showed him another photograph, leaving him completely bewildered, unable to comprehend what it depicted. Judging by the expression on Sam's face, it was clear that everyone's lives were in serious danger. At that moment, Morin was communicating with the spirit of Katie, asking how all of this had happened. Only then did simply Katie reveal that everyone present there had become spirits. However, there was some unknown force preventing them from moving on. In other words, this mysterious entity had killed all these people and trapped their souls. Until its mission was complete, it would not release them, meaning this unknown force was far more powerful than even the spirits themselves. Morin couldn't comprehend which spirit Katie was referring to, as so far she had only seen Katie's spirit, and the rest of the place was completely deserted. Meanwhile, another man, a member of Sam's team, is shown. He had taken a small drink because he had found a bottle lying around. As he moved through the hall area, the tables and chairs began to move on their own, arranging themselves exactly as they had been before, just as had happened elsewhere on the cruise ship. Suddenly, numerous passengers appeared before him, and everything looked exactly as it had before. There was also a woman in front of him, singing. She was strikingly beautiful and immediately approached him as she walked forward. She even leaned in as if to kiss him, but in the next moment, the man was killed. It became clear that someone, or something, was systematically killing everyone, one by one. First, one member aboard the ship had been killed, and now this second member had been eliminated, implying that everyone else would meet the same fate and their spirits would be trapped. At this point, 2 more members of Sam's team were shown, who had found some food items. They started eating the canned food as guided, since canned food was the best option in such situations. The two members devoured all of it eagerly, but upon closer inspection, they realized that the food was actually filled with tiny insects. The taste in their mouths was so revolting that both of them went completely insane. Immediately after, they were attacked as well, and the screen went blank. Meanwhile, Sam was shown in full panic mode because he had realized certain things, and for this reason, he wanted to gather everyone and get out of there as quickly as possible. He was even calling out to Morin. But suddenly, another man appeared in front of Sam, a member who had died in the earlier blast, now appearing as a spirit. The man held a knife and had come to kill Sam. Already terrified, Sam became even more alert at this new threat. Overwhelmed with fear, he ran toward the pool area. Morin also saw the same girl who warned her that this entity was coming and that it would continue killing everyone until its mission was complete. Hearing Sam's voice, Morin rushed to the pool area as well. As she approached, Sam began experiencing hallucinations, seeing the face of the attacker superimposed on Morin's face, the very spirit who had come to kill him. Realizing the imminent danger, Sam, in a desperate attempt to survive, instinctively attacked Morin, climbing onto her and trying to harm her. Morin, however, managed to steady herself and evade him, despite being a woman confronting a physically strong man. Fortunately, their ally Jael arrived at that moment, incapacitating Sam by knocking him unconscious. Jael then carefully lifted Morin and brought her to the rest of the surviving team. They first secured the deranged Sam in a chamber, ensuring he couldn't attack anyone else, as leaving him free posed too great a risk. After this, the reunited team was finally safe. They decided that they needed to fix the chip, no matter what it took, in order to restore the system and get the engine running just enough to push the ship forward in the water. One member guided everyone on how to carry out the necessary tasks, and the team immediately set to work fulfilling their responsibilities. At that moment, Morin saw Katie's spirit again, trying to communicate something to her. She led Morin into a chamber and instructed her to look up, leaving Morin utterly shocked when she realized that the companion before her was the very one whose life had already been lost. This was the same crew member who had gone into the hall, causing everything to change. The situation was that the singer lady had seduced him and then pushed him from a height, killing him instantly. Morin was extremely confused. To clarify everything, Katie's spirit placed her hand on Morin and revealed all the events that had taken place on the cruise ship. This took her back to the time when the small boat had been loaded with a massive treasure onto the cruise ship. When several people discovered this, a gang attempted to steal it. They killed every passenger who stood in the way of their plan. It turned out that the singer was among them. Although the gang had access to the treasure, the singer was greedier than anyone else, wanting all of it for herself. She instructed one of her accomplices to kill everyone else. Not stopping there, she even killed the man who had been working with her, showing that her greed allowed her to do anything for herself. Shortly after, another man arrived near her. This was the mastermind behind the entire operation, the one who had planned everything alongside the singer. However, for reasons unknown, he stepped back, made a signal, and released a hook that struck the singer directly, killing her as well. This same man then betrayed the singer and took all the gold for himself. When Morin saw his face, she was shocked. This was none other than her ally, Jael, the very person who had motivated everyone to come here. In reality, Jael had been killing people from the beginning and capturing their spirits. Morin rushed to Sam as quickly as she could, knowing he was innocent, unfairly locked in a chamber. But by the time she reached him, she discovered that Sam had been drowned in the water. The photo Sam had held in his hand belonged to Jael, revealing that the captain had been trying to hint at the true culprit all along. Sam had been searching for them to explain the situation to the rest of the team. Morin was utterly shocked as she realized, one by one, everyone was being killed. Morin warned the others to be extremely careful around Jael. He was dangerously violent and might try to kill them. For now, Morin went straight to the other teammate who had gone below to repair the ship, but despite calling out repeatedly he did not come back. The pipe he had gone near had turned bright red, confirming that Jael had killed him too. Meanwhile, Jael entered the main chamber and focused his attention on another crew member. That member remembered Morin's warning to watch Jael, but Jael, now revealed as a malevolent force, deliberately provoked him, saying things that made him angrier and angrier. The man drew his gun and shot Jael dead. After that, the man hurried over to Morin and discovered that she had planted bombs in several places. She was planning to blow the whole ship up. The man argued that they shouldn't destroy the ship, they could sell all that gold on the market. But Morin was adamant, spirits were trapped here, and Jael was the one responsible. If the ship remained, those souls would stay imprisoned, so she had to destroy it to free them. The crew member stared at Morin for a while, and then it became clear that this was Jael, who had assumed the form of that crew member. It was now certain that Jael had killed him and was about to reveal the truth to Morin. Jael explained that, just as Morin dives into the sea to recover lost things, his job was to collect souls. However, because of the evil deeds he had committed, he had been sent to hell. He was later returned to complete a mission assigned by a demonic force, to capture as many souls as possible. Morin, however, declared that she would not let his plan succeed. As she moved to pull a lever, Jael used his power to strike her, knocking her unconscious. She fell into the water but quickly regained consciousness. Jael was advancing toward her, and Morin immediately grabbed a hook, stabbing it into his leg. Jael screamed in pain, and Morin seized the opportunity to pick up a gun and shoot an arrow directly at the lever. This lever was connected to all the other bombs, and as soon as it was triggered, bombs planted by Morin exploded throughout the ship. The vessel, floating on the water until then, began to sink. Water flooded multiple chambers, and debris crashed down as the ship tilted upside down, slowly sinking deeper. Morin struggled desperately to escape, but the ship was filling with water and collapsing around her. Suddenly, Katie's spirit appeared before her and guided her on how to get out. Following her directions, Morin finally managed to escape. From a distance, she watched the cruise ship sink, but she could see that all the trapped souls aboard were now freed. Perhaps the spirits were finally returning to their true realm, their own world, the place that had always been their home. Morin watched in awe as one by one, the souls that had been trapped inside the sinking cruise ship were lifted upward, drifting toward the light as if an invisible current was guiding them back to where they belonged. The entire scene was almost otherworldly. The air seemed to shimmer as each spirit ascended, glowing faintly, leaving behind the chaos and darkness that had held them captive for so long. Morin felt an overwhelming sense of relief mixed with wonder. She could feel their gratitude, a calm presence washing over her after the terrifying ordeal. For the first time, a sense of peace settled over the wreckage of the ship, which had been the site of so much death, fear, and betrayal. Not long after, a rescue ship appeared on the horizon, cutting through the turbulent waters. They carefully brought Morin aboard, placing her gently on a stretcher. Her body was exhausted, battered from the sinking ship and the near drowning, but her mind remained sharp. Even in that moment of apparent safety, her eyes caught a movement that made her heart sink. Jael, disguised as an ordinary employee, was slipping through the shadows, carefully transferring the stolen gold to another hidden location. His cunning and malice were far from spent. Even though the spirits were free, his dark ambition and dangerous plans would continue. Morin realized that the threat was not over. He would find other ways to capture souls and cause chaos. A mix of relief, fear, and determination surged through Morin as she looked out over the now quiet waters. The cruise ship was slowly disappearing beneath the waves, but in that destruction, she could see that justice and freedom had prevailed for the souls that had been trapped. She took a deep, shaky breath, absorbing the enormity of what had happened. It was a moment of victory, but also a sobering reminder that evil never truly rests. And with that, our story draws to a close.